Hello, everybody. We want to welcome you to Love and I'm Church Waukegan Bible Study here tonight. We're in the book of Samuel here, 8 and 9. Okay. He ate continuously at the table at the king's table. Okay. And he was laying on both feet. And so we're gonna look at this here thing. So before we get started here, we talked about last week and how everything was coming to a closing. King David himself wanted had a notion to build God a temple. And so the Lord sent the prophet Nathan in to talk with him and told him, "You're not going to build this temple. Your son is going to build this temple." And David even went out and was so blessed to hear what God said and said, "Because you're going to bless my house forever." And God established. So David ended up praying that the Lord would establish him and so forth. So we're going to move from that moment into where David is doing now, or the Israelites are doing now. So let's go. It's only 18 verses in this here. And after this came to pass, David smote the Philistines and subdued them. And David took Macedon, whatever saying, out of the land of Philistine, and smote Mobile and the Moabites or Mobile. How did it, that is one of um, Lot's son right there. And they measured them with a line, cast them down unto the ground, even with 2 lines measured he to put to death. And with one full line he kept alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought him gifts. And David smote whoever this guy's name, the son of Roho, king of Zepho, if I'm saying it right, and he went to recover his borders on the river at the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 7,000 horsemen and 20,000 men. And David took from him 1,100 horsemen, 2,000, 20 and 1,000 footmen. And David uh hid all the chariot and horses and reserve reserve of them for 100 chariots. And when the when the Syrians of was that Damas came to uh, whatever this king, whoever, David slew the Samaritans 2 and 20,000 men. And David put was that a garrison in Samaria of Damascus, and the Samaritans became servants of David and brought him gifts. So now you had the Samaritan bringing him gift, and now you had Ammon bringing him gift. And what God is doing is allowing him so to. And the Lord preserved David wheresoever he went. And so that's that blessing that God got on him. Amen. And David took the shields of gold that were on the servant of whatever his name, and brought them to Jerusalem, and from Bethel, and from whatever, and from all these cities that David conquered. And he took exceeding more brass. Now, what David is doing now? Oh, David looked like he is storing up for this house for his son to build. And when Taka, king or whoever, heard that David had smited all the host of, uh, I can't call his name, Hezadar, or whatever his name is, then whoever his name, Tuko, sent was that Jermon, his son, the king, to up unto King David to salute him and to bless him, because he had fought against this guy and smote him. For this guy had war with was Tiho, and whatever brought with him the vessels of silver and gold and the vessels of brass, which also King David did dedicate unto who? The Lord. Now he's bringing all this up into the house of God. When they say dedicated, he's giving it to the temple or the church or the priest to store. And the silver and gold that he had dedicated to all the nations which he subdued. Moving on. All right. Assyria of Moab, the children of Ammon, and the Philistine, and the Amorites, and all the spoils of that king, whoever I can pronounce his name. David got him a name when he returned from smiting the Syrians in the valley of Salt, and 18,000 men. And so now David is going through as he began to conquer, as God began to put that favor in his life. And so now what I want you to pay attention to now, the Moabites and Ammon, these are the descendants of Lot. These are actually Lot's generation that he had. Remember when we were going through the book where they separated the land and things like that, and we saw where the children of Ammon were, the Ammon, and we saw the children of Moab, and then you saw where Ishmael and all of them dwell. And so that's kind of sort of what David is over there, and all of them now, though they are kin. Lot was Abraham's nephew. You know, they still really is not a part of that whole big nation that dwell in and worked there. And he put them in the garrisons of Edom, uh, uh, um, Adam, whatever, throughout all the Adam to put in the garrison. Now he's throwing this up, and all the whatever became David's servants. And the Lord preserved David wheresoever he went. Again, everywhere David went, God blessed him. All right, the last few chapters in this here, we move on to the next chapter, which got, I think, 13 verses in it. And David reigned over Israel, and David executed and judgment and justice unto all his people. Okay, and Joab the son of whoever was over the host. Joab, I'm sorry, was over the host, and whatever the son of whoever was recovered, and Zadai the son of whoever, and a all these different things I can't, which were the priests. Um, Sarda was I can't pronounce his name, but he was a scribe. And what a scribe is the one who sit down and write all the history, all the religious laws from the priests and things like that. That's pretty much how the Bible was written. It was written by somebody like a scribe, So now all these people was observed. And then you get on down to 18, the two names I can pronounce was all over both of whoever and whoever, and David's son was chief ruler. And so David had a son that was ruling over there. So let's get into 9. There's not a whole lot to put there, but God is showing you that his blessing was on David. David went in and subdued kings, subdued Ammon, subdued everything that was not directly in line in the point of what God is doing. David subdued it. Now he set it up where you had this person, this person, this person, and David's son was over them. Okay, so now David have established this. He getting into a war. Now we're going to get what we come into the 9th verse. So remember that David and Jonathan had a very special relationship. And Jonathan knew that he was going to die at some point. So he made David swore if there be anybody that's in his household, David would take care of it. So in 9, you're going to see David honor that promise that he made to Jonathan, his friend. Okay, and David said, is there yet any that was left in the house of Saul that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? So now he's going through and he's looking through the house of Saul so that he can fulfill that promise that he made. And there was of the house of Saul a servant was named Zephyr, if I'm saying it right. And when they had called him unto David, and the king said unto him, art thou Zabba, or how you pronounce his name? And he said, thy servant is he. But in other words, in our time, yes, I am. I am he. And the king said, is there not yet anybody in the house of Saul that I may show kindness of God unto him? And Zabba said unto the king, Jonathan had yet a son, which is lain in his feet. And the king said, where is he? And Zophar, if I'm saying it right, said unto the king, behold, he is in the house of Mishai, the son of uh, Emilah in Lonabar. And King David sent and fetched him out of the house of whoever, the son of whoever, in Lodabar. And when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came unto David, he fell on his feet. On his face, and did what revenge. Maybe he was asking him to forgive him, whatever. And David said to Mephibosheth, and he answered, Behold, thy servant. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I was for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and restore thee all the lands of Saul thy father's, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. And he bowed himself and said, what is thy servant that thou shalt look upon such a dead dog as I am? Wow, that kid had no impression of himself because of a disability. And it's kind of show you kind of sort of how we treat people in the world today. And the king called unto Ziphar, if I'm saying that right, Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have gone unto thy master's son. I have given unto all thy master's son all that pertains unto Saul and to all of his house. Thou therefore and thou sons and thou servants shall till the land for him, and shall bring forth fruit, that thy master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, thou master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziphar had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziphar unto the king, According to all that my lord the king hath commanded his servant, so shall thy servant do. As for Mephibosheth, said the king, he should eat at my table continually. Eat at my table as one of the king's sons. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was uh, I don't know how to say it, Michal, if I'm saying it right, and all that dwelled in the house of Ziphar the servant until Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth dwelled in Jerusalem, for he did eat continuously at the king's table, and was lame in both of his feet. And so that blessing came through. David upheld this promise as God said, and that's just how it worked. So you see David now getting seated into his kingship, but you also see David honoring his promises that he made. You see him doing his kindness. You see him doing, and you also see him storing up things for the building of his temple, because that's what he's doing. So he went and from the servant, he had him just storing it up. And it's going to be beautiful when you see Saul come and they begin to bring all the trees and the gold and the brass and all the different things that was needed. So even though David was not allowed to build the temple, he definitely was a big part of it. So these are two very short chapters here tonight, short but sweet here. And so you're just seeing how God is blessing David again, restoring everything in Israel, and bringing everything to fruition here. So even though he don't get to build the temple, as God began to bless him, and he takes the spoils and things up, not to build his own house, but he began to store them up for the blessing of God. Then he goes and he looked for anybody that's in Saul's house. And even though Saul was wicked, he restored their land and restored their house. You see the kindness and generosity of this young man. You see just how God is blessing him. I guess what I think I can take from here tonight, that is, as God began to bless me, I don't have to be big-headed. I don't have to want to imprison people's. You can still be kind and still do what God had to do. That's part of David's life. He had to fight. He had to destroy men. But yet, he also understood the kindness and generosity that God wanted and let things happen. So, that surely is the time to live. That surely is the time to give. That surely is the time to bless. And that surely is the time to give. You see it all working in David's life here as God began to unfold. Well, that's pretty much all we have here for this particular message tonight. We're going to cut it here. If you like what you hear, you have to go to LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. Please go to our live broadcast tab. A drop-down menu will appear. Please select the Bible study selection of the drop-down menus. Join the Bible study community, and you have access for us to sit around and talk about the Bible, and you get an opportunity to laugh at me try to read all these crazy big words. But nevertheless, you'll get an understanding of what the written word is really saying and an idea of what's really going on so that we don't have a perception of God. We have an understanding of what is written. It's much better that way because God can lead you, guide you, and bless you in a lot of things. So, again, that is LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. Please go to the live broadcast tab, drop down menu up here, select the Bible study selection of the drop down menu, and you have access to a link to go live, which we go live all the time. Also, you'll be able to participate in our live discussion. You also will have a video library where you can go back and listen at the word and read the word, and Jay may fulfill your heart. So may God bless you and forever keep you in his care as we getting ready to go live.